Yeah, thanks guys for joining us. Those that are here, we wanted to basically, as we say, talk about different things each month. And coming up this month, we've got the New South Wales Flexi Championships. So I thought it'd be an ideal time to talk about flexi cars, a couple of the different ones, and basically how we set them up and things like that. So the race we've got coming up is the New South Wales, I say, Flexi Championships. There's going to be four cars in that racing over 2 days. So we have got JK Indy cars, which is, if we can flick to a screen, and I will show you the JK Indy car. So coming up, there we go. So there,
Hopefully, it looks like we've still got volume
we've
going
still got
now.
volume by the sound of it. Thank you. So that is a JK Indy car. So that's going to be one of the cars we'll discuss tonight. So that's one of the cars in the race. One of the other cars in the race is a DTM. So these are pretty old cars that we're showing you, and they've been banged and bashed around a bit, but that is going to be another one, which is a DTM with a Cheetah 4 motor. So that will be in the event as well. Hi guys, just wanted to clarify something. In our live stream last night, I actually stated one of the cars wrong in the New South Wales Flexi Championship. Not sure what I was thinking, but the Hawk 7 LMP is not in the race. It should have been the stock car brushless motor that is in the race. So that is the other car. So we've got the Retro, the DTM, the IndyCar, and the brushless. So those are the four cars in the race. So I'll get that all written up today. And yeah, sorry for the confusion, and I'll get that put right. Thanks, guys. And then also, last but not least, is the retro. So a few different types of retros. So we're going to go through them with you as well tonight. So these are the four cars that are in the event coming up on the 21st and 22nd of February here. So what I want to basically flick to now is we'll probably go to, and I've mentioned this several times in the past about the Astra site. Now we need to get more guys and slot car centres across Australia looking at this Astra site and seeing what's available and what's on there. So there's a few things on here. We've got calendars, we've got rules, and I'll let Anthony, who's controlling the screen at the moment, I'll let him sort of just discuss where this is, where you find it, what it's capable of doing, what information you can get from it. And let's all try and utilize this a bit more, guys. So, Anthony, I'll let you control that.
Okay, so as you can see, we're into the Australian Slot Car Races Association website as cara. Just confirm the web address for me. But once you're into the page, it's a forum or an index, so there's plenty of topics you can go through. And as you can see here, I'm into the national rules, national classes and rules, and from there you can click into the Aussie Retros, the Flexi classes, and there's obviously some other ones for other races around the country, such as the Plaffett and Scale, Slot Works, Wing Cars, whatnot there. So I encourage you to sign up, become a member, and that way you can interact and fully utilise the features of this forum. So in this case, we're looking at the rules for this event coming up. So I can click on Aussie Retros there. I believe it's in the all classes, and then we can go through the rules of how to build these Aussie retros, the specifications, dimensions that you need to adhere to have a legal car.
Just on that point, there are the basic main rules that are throughout Australia for a lot of the raceways. Now, if an event is on, check with the raceway that's taking the event and doing the event, because they can make the odd change to these. They might specify a certain diameter tire and bits and pieces. So always just cross-reference and double check with the raceway that's holding the event if there are any changes to these ASCRA rules. So there is a slight little change between the odd raceway. So always just double check that if you're planning on going to an event.
Yeah, so it just keeps scrolling down there. There's dimensions, obviously, for the bodies and the chassis and widths and stuff like that. Angle of the wing, dimensions at the back there, as you can see. You actually can't see my mouse as a pointer. Or is the mouse going out to the? It might be actually. Um, and it continues on down. So there's plenty of detail there to get your cars set up and built, and obviously with the addendum of the local rules. So this one, the addendum of the Can-Am stuff, and at the bottom there. So we'll just this back up the top.
So what I might quickly just show what a retro is for those that have not seen
Well,
them.
we'll go to a retro. Right,
So
we'll get
we'll
out of that.
just
We'll go to left close up and transition. There we go. Yep.
So this is what we're calling a retro. Now, can't currently buy these too easily off the shelf. So you can see there have been a chassis that's been made. So it's a brass chassis there, in pieces using the wire between them. Now, there is variations. So if I can move these ones out of the way a second. These are all classed as retro. So built by different people, different styles. So as you can see, there are three completely different styles there, but they are all classed and within the retro specifications. So depending on how you want to build these chassis up. So as I say, we're not finding these off the shelf anywhere at this stage. There's a few builders out there that do them, and you can buy them from them as well. You quite often see them online, but give us a shout if you need me to put in touch with you in touch with somebody that can build these for you, or if you want to have a go yourself. Couple of options. That you're looking at there is basically very similar to this one here. So that's it's not exact, but it's going to be quite similar to that type of chassis. And this is how you get the kits. So the kits are built like this, and then you put the wiring in here to connect up the different sections. So a lot of work, soldering it all together. You will find slightly different gauges of wire may have been used. There's different numbers of wire, and that affects how rigid the chassis is. So again, certain builders like different ways of doing it. There's also, you can't really see much inside the package on that. You can just about see the reflection going through there with the motor bracket, and that's a Mid-America one. So again, they're what the starting kits for them. There's others around as well, but that's two good kits to be starting with if you want to look at building a retro.
And obviously, you purchase your piano wire separately.
Piano wire,
yeah.
we sell all that lot as well, so that you can get whatever you need. It comes in different thicknesses, so you've got to basically specify a lot. And some of that may be written in the rules of what size piano wire you're allowed to use. So again, that basically is it. So as with everything you're looking at on Flexis, flatness is basically key. Everything flat, and that's the main key with everything you're sort of doing, getting things flat. Different things with the retros, where it changes quite a bit, is the motor brackets at the back. You can see this one is actually quite narrow, where this one is a really wide motor bracket on that one. And this one, they've used a motor bracket and they've used tubing either side. So again, affects how rigid the car is and whether or not that's going to lead to how you like and style that you're going to do, because there is different opinions out there. There's no right and wrong as long as you're within those rules. I'm just flicking the body off this one to show you inside as well. So that's basically inside of the retro, this particular one. As you can see, they've used bracing across here to give that strength. So it's not twisting too much. That one's been done.
Yeah, normally set up with a little bit of float, I think, on some tubes and things like that. So
yep. So I don't know if you can see that moving back and forward. So that's a bit of float they've got there on these. So again, different designs. So again, setup boards, you wanting everything flat. So basically I'd be looking at taking the guide off first, taking the wheels off, and getting that chassis nice and sitting nice and flat. Now, I'm no expert on these, and a lot of guys will may say differently, but that is the first key: is getting everything nice and flat. And then you got to start looking at from there is ride heights. So ride heights, again, check your specifications of what wheels you need to be running. I'm not sure if it's 850 or 850, I think rings a bell for the retros, but again, checking all your rules on there. And then you're looking at ride heights, which will again be specified to make sure you've got the clearance under here correct to the specifications again. So gauges to give you ride heights or make yourself something up. And again, that's the main checks there. Guides, we'll go through guides a little bit more on some of the other flexes, but that just gives you a bit of an idea on retro cars and and how to build them and set them up. So this is running a Plafit Cheetah 4, 48 pitch gearing in that one. Should probably something like a 1027 or something like that is more likely in this one. And that's, again, check the rules to see what their certain tracks may specify the actual gearing you must run. Some leave it open. So, yeah, have a look at that. So I'm going to pass you back to Anthony now to go through back to the Astra site, and we'll go across to some other information on there.
Righto. Get myself sorted out here. Righto. So back to national class and rules. And we're going to go into some of the flexis.
Yep, so pick out whichever you want to jump to.
I think we're down to the DTM there. Righto, into the DTM. Okay, hopefully we can all see that on the screen. You can see it's nice and easy to navigate through the website. So if I can do this live, you can certainly do it in your computer at home or on your laptop, just sitting in your chair.
Yeah, so ascra.au, if anyone who missed the actual information earlier when we were saying, so this site is called ascra.eu, so I'll just put that in the note there. I'll spell it right first before I do it. And make sure spell check doesn't change at all like it's trying to do.
Fix it up.
Just put it up there, ascra.au. So that is the site. It has changed over the years. It was a slightly different web address. So that is now, this is where we're looking now, and Anthony's going through with you.
So plenty of rules there. So have just make yourself some time to go through those and make yourself familiar with them and understand it, and get your car ready to go to spec. These DTMs provide some really good close racing. The Cheetah 4s, while we've still got them, I think have been a fantastic engine, but motor, I should say.
Yeah, so just on that, Plafit, as you know, had some issues a year or so ago, and KTM now, it's a KTB have taken that over, and are starting to produce a lot more stuff on the Plafit range. But the Cheetah 4 motors still at this stage is not being produced. So we are running out of stock, and a lot of the raceways are looking at changing that. And we don't have much choice. We're all going to have to follow and change from that, because the Cheetah 4s will not be available. So this event we've got coming up on the 21st and 22nd of this month will probably be the last event of using the Cheetah 4 motors. So from there we'll be changing. So I'll just flick through.
You want to go back to the left close up? Righto, I'll get rid of the interact. There we go.
And there we go. So one DTM with the Cheetah 4. With the body, that is a DTM body on that one. So that is basically what we're looking at. This one is Ralph Thorne NSX body on that one. Now, certain clubs were specifying this as the only body you could use. That, I believe, has been opened up in most raceways now on the competitions to any DTM body. So in the rules there, basically, JK C21, most of the places are specifying. So this is a JK C21 chassis. Check on the raceways. A lot of the times the front wheels are not required, but check that with whoever's holding the event and the raceway to see what their rules are. So a lot of the times they're not. This particular one has got the motor bolted in. That is not necessary. You can solder the motors in place, and a lot of guys do solder the motors in. Gearing, most of them are running open gearing on the Racewing now. So this one again, set up, and if you're going to set up a Flexi, it's the same things again. Take your wheels off. First thing, I actually pull my chassis fully apart, so I remove this pin here, and then I can take this into separate pieces, and I check that each section is completely flat. So setup board for checking flatness is vital to getting a good running Flexi. So then, as you can see, I've put mine together. I've actually got some tape on there to give me a little bit of a damper on there. So that's like a gel tape. Not necessary if you don't want to use it. It's just my personal preference. I tend to use it. The other thing that I've done on there is pin tubing. So a lot of them can't have the floating pin tubes, but these are fixed, so they're actually soldered in place, the pin tubing on there. For those of you that don't know what I mean by the pin tubing, I'm about these little brass parts here and here. Okay, so a JK C21 chassis is the one we're discussing here. So as you can see, there's just basically just the holes there and the little tabs coming up where the body normally fastens. And Anthony may be able to pass me a body clip.
Well, there's one.
We had one somewhere.
Oh, I'll put it back in the IndyCar.
Oh, is it? Okay.
So we can.
I'll quickly flick across to show. These clips are standard what come with the cars a lot of the time when you buy them off the shelf. So that's a clip that keeps it in. So you can replace them and basically put the pin tubes in instead. So they're soldered in. That is the pin tubes. So they are made as a pack for floating pin tubes. Now we tend to don't use them as floating pin tubes, so we just solder the tubes directly in through here and leave the collars and the rest of it out because we're not running floating pin tubes. There's not many classes that allow it, so again, keeps checking them rules. Then basically just using standard straight short pins the body on. As you saw before when I pulled the one off the standard.
Yep, sometimes just put a bit of a bend in them to so they sit tight in the tube. So.
Yeah, so as they're going through the body of the car and then locating into the tube, and I'm too far away to see that with my eyesight, into there. So what I tend to do is put them in part way, give them a little bit of a bend, and then push them in. That just makes them stay in that tube a little bit more, less likely to slide out while you're racing. So that's pin tubes. So again, same thing. Work out what your tire height is. Work out what your clearance is at the back. This one, for example, will not pass. This is an old car. That has not got the clearance under there. I think it's minimum of 1 mil clearance on most things. So you should be setting your cars up maybe 1.3. And then because they are going to wear down while racing. So I'd sort of, personally, I'll set my cars at around about 1.3 on that clearance. And then as they race, they'll wear down a bit. But if it's less than 1 mil, which that one is, that will get disqualified at scrutineering, and it'll have to be changed before you can actually run it. So I'll flick back to Anthony at that point to go through to the next one.
After the JK Indy cars, so we're back on Ascara here, as you can see, and I've got Flexi JK Indy at the top. Just click into that, and there is PDFs you can download here, which give you a single document you can save on your computer or your device with a set of the rules. But yeah, again, there's a concise, full explanation of the rules here for the Indy cars.
The messages while you
just have a look at that, and who have we got on board? I think I saw the slot car, a guy,
got a
Travis,
few there.
Dave,
Wayne, Shell Queens is up there. UC Slot Cars, thank you guys for joining us. Some more Falcons 58s are in there as well. Yeah, thanks guys for those that are watching, and those that are looking back at this at a later date. So good reference here.
Yep. So again, these are typically run with the Hawk 7, not the 7BB. And there's some clear rules about whether you can't modify the motor other than a little notch in the back to give a bit of clearance to the rear axle. So I might actually show that on this one. So just click off that and back to left. Left close up transition. There we go. All right. So this brings the polka dot car that craftily painted by myself. Mob designed. Got a nice little bit of a orange, and I'm not sure how well it shows up. A bit of a pearl in the red or pinky sort of coloured dots there. So as we talked about before, we've got the wire down the side here that clips into the front mount on the chassis and through to the back one. Now they just typically pull out at the back. Well, I set mine up to pull out of the back on this one, and then a little bit of a wiggle and it's funny there. So there's a body clip there. Get that sore thumbnail finger out of the way there. But, don't know how that happened. And that's reaching into a box to dig out a whole lot of paperwork and found there was a safety plate buried in amongst the mineral folders. I don't know how they got there, but anyway. So there you might be able to see those in contrast against those guys. So these work well. They give sort of quick access to the car. They are.
It was just a paper cut.
It's a bit deeper than a paper cut, I've got to say. So I sort of went, ooh.
Sorry, back to the car.
These guys work well. Have been occasionally known in a collision to spring out. And that's where the pins and the pin tubes have probably got an advantage. So a little bit more to set up the pin tubes, a bit more soldering. I might need a spanner to actually take it off in due course. I'm not sure we got that organised. But one of the Indy's obviously an open wheel car at the front. You can open those if you like.
Nice.
When it comes to, let's get back in the shot here. When it comes to removing the bodies, you've got a big choice to make. Obviously, the front wheel, as you can see here, goes through, in this case, a hole in the chassis. That has trapped the body on there. Now, you can either make a cut that comes down and under so you can separate the body at this point and lift it off the axle, or you've got to take the front axle out. So try one of these new tools here. They look pretty good, Mike. Hey? And I'll pick the right size to begin with. That was good going. I'm going to convenience wheel off, axle out, and now we can take the body off. So that's just a decision you got to make as the owner, whether you want to cut the chassis down through this area here, the body, to make it convenient. When you do that, there are sometimes in a collision where that will come and sort of separate and lift up over the axle and sort of cause a bit of a problem. It can be just quickly flicked back down. The marshal might have to do that for you, but potentially a bit of time lost.
Yeah.
So for the sake of a bit of inconvenience when building the car or working on the car of having to pull the axle out, in a race, it is more secure with just the hole and no cut.
And you've got a little bit more rigidity here with the front as well, with that not being cut. So it's less likely to start twisting on you, which we tend to get a bit as well. So it's definitely worthwhile.
It helps with the life of the body a little bit for sure. So
that particular body is a Ralph Thorne Racing Indy body. So quite a nice body. We're finding them quite good. The JK is the chassis that we're using.
There's a JK here. We'll bring that in. There's not too many secrets here. I tend to put these guys on the track, keep them flat. Is, as you said, a key thing, and set your ride heights so that they're legal and allowed. And fresh set of tyres. There's lots of tyres.
I can see a little mud on the end of that.
Can you? Oh, okay. Well, there might be. I'm sure there's plenty of people do that. Well done.
Yeah.
But I believe you're allowed to brace, but again, check your individual rules for bracing across the axle mounts and things like that. So, so that's these guys. Again, I've just got a bit of flexi tape there, and it looks like I've got some tape underneath that one on there as well. Gear ratios and things like that to be set. As I said, Hawk 7s in these guys. You've got a choice when you're building these with the either you go the hex nut or you can get these really nice aluminium ones with the pins, and they come with a nice tool you can use for turning these off. That's a lot easier and more convenient.
On
that, and we've got some guides there. Mike was just going to show us.
So with the guide as part of setup to the cars, we're talking about ride heights. Standard guides that quite often these come with, because these are JK, you can get them straight out of the box, ready for the track. You'll have a different body in this. It's got the JK Indy body on. But on the guides, so if we look at this guide here, this is the standard guide they come with. Now, what I'm sort of trying to point out is the thickness from here to here. So this is what I'm looking at. So this is obviously dictating the ride height at the front as well. So quite often you need to look again and depend on the height of the braids on your track and things like that. This one is what the class is a low cut guide. Makes a big difference on all your flexis, getting these ride heights right. So if you go for a low cut guide, you can also use some guide spacers if you do need to adjust it still, but you've got the flexibility there. The other thing a lot of the guys look at is the shape of the actual blade part. Some of the guys are going for these, which is tapered, and that way you can see there's a lot more of a taper on there.
So there's narrower at the front and the back, and so thicken up in the middle.
Yes, you know, they've got that smoother. So when it's entering, it's sort of, I guess it's sort of battleship shape. And I thought I'd look at that.
Yeah, yep.
Where it's trimming out nicely either end, and these are a little bit squarer. There is a bit of a point on the fronts of them, but definitely not got the taper that these have. So they're the kind of things you can change on your cars to help and assist on getting them ride heights and everything correct on them. You mentioned before about notching the motors.
Oh, okay, yep. So these are generally allowed, but up in the back corner here, I hope this is in focus actually, but just in here, to get the motor to mesh properly, there's a little notch is taken out of the motor case there, just to make a bit of relief for where that axle passes across that corner.
So your little Dremel or a file, you can just take that corner off the motor to make sure that motor is not catching.
So the motor can come back far enough for the gears to mesh up.
So so when you see that in the rules where it says notching of the motor is allowed, that's basically what they're referring to on there.
Let's try a couple of different angles, so hopefully you can pick that up. Yeah. All right.
Okay.
So that's a fair bit of the Indy cars, I think.
So while we're at it, what do you reckon to the new tools? Eh?
Well, I've just seen an extra feature in those too.
Yeah.
Well, look at that. We got a name in there.
We got I put the logo on it.
Yeah, right.
So full set. So we've got 0.9,
Yeah, with the 1.3 there. Yep.
1.5, and 2 mm. So pretty much covering the range of what we're using in slot cars. That should cover everything that we're sort of using. Some of the older motor screws are using 2 mm, most of them now 1.5. And then your 1.3 with your wheels and your gears and stuff like that. 0.9, not used a lot in flexes, but the 132 scale auto slotted. Some of the staffs are taking the 0.9.
Yep.
So look, always trying to do the right thing. So I've got now basically brought these sets in, so they're fairly new. So we'll see how they go, but they seem a pretty nice feel to them. If you're wondering, good price as well, $25 for the full set of 4. So they're not online yet. Don't think. No, I didn't get them on today.
Okay.
So they're going to be going online soon. So yeah. While we're using them, I'm going to show them you. So yeah, tools if you need them.
Very good.
Starting to get more and more to get everything we need to keep these slot cars on the track. All right. So what does that leave us with on back to the Astra side?
Back there. We're still just in the get myself organised here, so we'll just scroll back to the top and we'll go to the mouse rather than the trackpad. And if we head back here, obviously we're in the national class and rules there. So reasonably active forum, so get on there and have a chat, introduce yourself if you're not known. I'm sure the guys will be quite welcoming to all new people coming in, and there's lots of discussions.
So some great information there. You know, there's guys there that've been racing for 50 years and have got information on there about helping you set things up and bits and pieces. You know, there's you're looking at the historical stuff there. You got the pictures there and bits and pieces of tracks, some of the old tracks. It's just some great stuff to look at and just read through. Yeah, get on there. Good to see a few raceways have started to get in there now. We've got to get more on there. There's a lot more raceways around than what's on here, and I keep pushing to try and get people on here. And slowly but sure, I'm seeing a few names appear there that we're managing to get to join and get onto this forum. The forum has been around a long time. It's ridiculous how little number of slot car centres are utilising it. I think they get the feeling it was just originally like it was mainly wing cars and everything at first, but now it's not. It's spread out. It's for more than just the wing cars and that. So get you guys just get in touch on the website. There'll be a contact there to introduce yourself, and you'll find the guys are pretty good. I'm more than happy to help.
Looks like there's a reasonably current listing of one there. This has been updated recently.
Yeah, so it's like getting recently.
Yep.
I just noticed my site. It's got there, and it's got an S on the end and not a Z.
Oh, dear.
Hey.
Well, got a bit of work to do here.
Is that a competitor? Is it me? All right. So we're left with just the.
All right, we'll head back to
JK one. Is the.
Yeah, righto. We'll clear a bit of this out of the way. Excuse.
I don't think I've missed anything from that side. I'm going to take an opportunity to take a couple of things as well.
Yep, there's plenty of tools and goodies you can.
Plenty of tools. Oh, what I didn't show you was that was the standard chassis for the Indy cars. Oh, let me go there. So yeah, so it's a C30. If anyone's wondering what the chassis is used on the Indy cars, that's the one. It's a C30. Other tools we've sort of got that we're using all the time and checking. Again, check your rules, wheel widths. So you need to check what they are. We have some handy little gauges to check whatever they are, depending on the spec of the car, different sizes as well. So check your wheel widths. If any of the raceways need some of these, let me know. I've got them available here. If you want your own logos written on for your raceway, give me a shout and I'll make them with your logos. So, and they can be made to any width. So, handy tools for your rules for checking widths of cars. Yeah, so that's pretty much that. Other things I'm trying to get everything less expensive for everyone. We've got a lot of cars. There's a few classes, so where I can save a few dollars here and there. So I'm starting to have things made and get them a bit cheaper. Curved scissors, perfectly what we're using for around the areas here. Probably shouldn't have used them on that one, I didn't. A better example of a nice cut on the corners there.
Curved scissors make a lot big difference.
Curved scissors, $8. So again, just making it that bit more affordable for stuff. So I'm starting to bring in little cutters and that. So keep an eye on what stuff of tools and that I'm going to be bringing in, because I am going to try and make this hobby a little bit more affordable for everyone. And that has basically been my thoughts and keys from opening this place. So I'm going to keep doing it. But just before we kick back off, can you go to the Astra race calendar?
Okay, yep, we can have a look at that. All right.
So again, astra.au. I've put it down in the comments section there.
Right, and over, so yeah, the calendar. Yeah.
Okay. So this is the calendar now. I think everyone can view the calendar, but you have to be registered to actually be able to enter stuff into it and get it authorized. So as you can see from this calendar, it's got a few raceways there. You got the Red Line Raceway, Seagulls, myself, B&S, Harvey Bay, RPM, Harvey Bay, Slick 7, King Willie. So they're the ones that are registered there at the moment, and they're basically putting their events up. So you can see on there, it's got ours there at shows your slots at New South Wales Championships 2026. And then 20th of March, we've got Seagulls, Nut and Bolt Nationals coming up as well. So the events are listed in there. So if you want to race, you want to get around, have a look at that. I don't know whether you can go to, can you go to like a yearly or monthly view on there at all? There should be like a calendar with just
No, this is
blocks and stuff. Shows you like a diary sort of view. Yeah, just scroll up to the top. Ah, that's the one I'm looking for.
right. It might format a little funny on this tight screen, but
So that is a quick view, and you can see there's events throughout Australia lodged in there. And here on the side, one pointing at the wrong bit. You can't see that.
oh, so yeah, okay.
This area here I'm
Yeah.
trying to point to. I don't know whether Anthony can sort of do that with his mouse or anything.
I'm going to click on one of those.
Yeah, so see right at the side on the calendars that you can basically look then by highlighting and taking them out. You can see here some of them are disappearing. So when you click on them, they disappear. So you can take and filter by certain raceways if you like.
And I've just hovered over July there, and it's popped up a whole lot of details. So that's quick and easy. I'll just hover over another one there.
Yep. So just go to I haven't got the Seagulls one in March there, 20th of March
back
somewhere.
up here, yep.
So if we hover over there, does that give us? So there you go. Oh no, March.
Seagulls. There we go.
Seagulls. There we go. So Nut and Bolt race there at Seagulls at Tweed Heads. So that's coming up 21st of March as well. So you guys have a look at this and see what racing is on around Australia. But other clubs, get in there, get your events put up there. and it's one spot we can all go to and look at what racing. It doesn't have to be Flexi cars. If you go to mine on the 20 something of March, it should be one of me in Ultimate Racers. So again, nothing to do with Flexis. This is Revo Slots Ultimate Racer, where we're putting 6 cars on the track, 6 controllers. Those cars and controllers don't move. The only thing that moves are the racers. Basically, 100% ability, nothing else. A little bit of luck on the day you don't get knocked off the track, I guess, but all in all, so it doesn't have to be Flexes. This site is not just for that. So you guys running your NSR events, your slotted events, all the rest of them, get them up here. And let's everyone start using this site so we all know if we were going away somewhere, you're on holiday in July, you're doing a trip somewhere, is there anything on in that area where you're going? You'll be able to see it on these sites. So let's utilize this site a bit more. I pretty much, I think, covered everything that I wanted to cover tonight. We've covered the flexes. So we'll be back next month doing something completely different than the flexes again. So I don't know what you want to do next month. Maybe go into Revo?
Yeah. So always do.
So next month we'll have a look at doing Revo because we do have, I know we've got we'll have the Ultimate Challenge coming up, which you don't need to set a car up for, but it will still be nice.
For that one, yeah, yep.
Still be nice to try and get in
the controller in the lane and away you go.
The Revos are getting very popular and we get a lot of questions on setting them up in bits and pieces, even though they work well out of the box. People are asking, well, why is it doing a certain time out of the box and the rest of the guys are doing a different time? And you're gaining a second, half a second quite easily with a little bit of tuning. So we'll maybe look at that one next week. And I think Hans the expert on the Revo, that's for sure.
There's a few good guys who can build cars around. So.
I'll try and not let him keep too many secrets from us all. So, so we've definitely seen a massive change in our times and stuff on Revos now that we've been running them for 4 or 5 years on the track. It's quite interesting statistics when we look at what we always thought was a good lap time and what we're doing now. So practice, experience, listening to other racers is all what's getting us up there and getting our times better. Well, I think I'm going to call it quits for tonight. Thank you to Anthony for assisting as always, and he helps with a lot of this technical stuff, and definitely a good racer as well. So we'll be back with you next month. So the first Wednesday of March, and we'll look at Revos for that one. But thanks, guys, for listening, and we'll catch up with you then.
Right.